All right, we do be back with more Fate. In the last one, Shinji got stabbed, as all Shinji should. And then in this one, we're getting back to the battle between Archer and Shiro. So a couple Shiros beating each other up. A good day for me, it sounds like. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump into it. The same swords, the same techniques clash. My attack and his attack are the same. But still, the blades chip away and my body is wounded the more we fight. The attack that I blocked breaks through. Concho on my left hand is destroyed by his Concho and his weapon sweeps at me from the side. I twist my body to dodge it, but it still slashes me. Although not immediately fatal, the wound will eventually overcome me. Damn! I bear the pain by cursing and swing Bakuya at the close enemy. What? It's blocked and destroyed as well. We have the same swords and same techniques, but there is a gap that I cannot fill. Did you think my Concho and yours are equal? Your assumptions of the basic structure are too weak. Even if you get the appearance and the composition materials down, it is a matter of course for it to be destroyed. If the structure is not reasoned out. Even an image falters if it is illogical. My temple and my side. He attacks both my vital spots at once. I immediately project the twin swords and parry the attacks. My head hurts to the point of blurring my sight. It's not because of the strain of immediate projection. This is that headache. The instinct I felt when I was searching for Tosaka. The slight fever I got every time I faced him. That strain now threatens to drive me mad. I parry his attacks. I step in and slash at his body. The red headache burns my eyes every time I do so. Is it because of the contradictions that Emiya Shiro and Heroic Spirit Emiya are existing at the same time? That's a very strange sentence. Is it because of the contradiction that Emiya Shiro and Heroic Spirit Emiya are existing at the same time? Ever since we recognize each other's identities, my body breaks every time we touch each other. I trace his sword techniques and even his reproduction ability. It's natural for them to suit me. His abilities are Emiya Shiro's optimal technique, perfected over many years of training. There's no way it would not suit me. In trying to match his skill, I allowed myself to learn too much about my future self. My eyeballs go numb. Every time I swing the sword, every time the sparks fly out, I'm attacked with a flash so strong that it could blind me. I am no match for him, and my vision fills with red every time I exchange blows. If that's the worst of it, I don't care. My body is already torn apart. My headache is nothing compared to the burning wound in my stomach. The problem is that the headache won't stop because there's something I'm still drawing out from him. That's the fifth one. You should be nearing your limits of reproduction using projection. I know your magical energy capacity. You have 3 more. Even though I showed that to you, you still misunderstand. His scornful voice contains some disappointment. Misunderstand? I don't care about that. More than anything, I have to do something about this headache right now. The thing flowing from you. Well, it will be impossible for you to even arrive at that. It will be impossible for you even if you arrive at that. It is not enough with the magical energy you can generate right now. Yes, either way. My headache gets worse. He raises his twin swords to finish the match. You had no chance of victory to begin with. He swings them down and across. The swords I blocked them with are destroyed. My body becomes numb as if a hammer had been smashed on it, and the headache finally sears my brain as well as my eyes. It's flowing into me. So, this is scarier than the pain. This is his memory. The reason he changed so much. I can see bits and pieces of what will happen to Emiya Shiro in the future. I don't know if it was correct or not. Nobody will be able to determine that. The beautiful things were ugly, and the ugly things were beautiful. There's nothing disgusting once you look at it objectively. So why is there such a deviation? Sophistry, falsehood, trickery, vanity. Those are what he saw the most. I am the bone of my sword. But still, it seems he did not care. There was an ideal and an oath he had to protect. He did not care what he lost to do so. Even when he was betrayed, he believed there would be a next time if he did not betray himself. He did not show grief or pain. Steel is my body, and fire is my blood. He is like a cold-blooded machine to others. He was a convenient existence, so he was conveniently used. He was only a tool in other people's eyes. But the machine had an ideal it wanted to protect, so it accepted its role as a convenient tool. I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, nor known to life. It's not something to go around proclaiming. The more he kills and the more he is unable to save, the less he can talk about his ideal. The only thing left for him is to obstinately protect his ideal until the very end. And the result? The ideal Emiyashiro dreamed of has never been accomplished, and he found out that it's just nonsense dreamed by a fool who is only a nuisance to others. Have withstood pain to create many weapons. Oh. See, this is his end. See, this is your end. My mind gives in. I won't feel compassion. I won't feel compassion. I won't feel compassion. I won't feel compassion. But my mind almost gives in, thinking that I will be following this exact path. Oh, yes, those hands will never hold anything. Yet, those hands will never hold anything. That's what I meant to say. What you believed in. What you believe in. You're shown that it is just a fantasy that is covered with lies and still. His weapon closes in. A horn-like sword comes to pierce my heart. I get away. I have in my hands the twin swords I quickly projected. I force down my nausea. What? What was I seeing? Forget it. Forget what you just saw. You need to defeat him. You should focus everything on that goal. I guess it's a miscalculation. I've heard of magic that lets you acquire skills from the past by possessing yourself with a previous self. It seems your skills improve the more you fight me. My shoulders heaving, I prepare myself for his attack. Then my projection shouldn't be the only thing you got from me. That face. Seeing that nasty face of yours. You saw it too, Emiyashiro. My breathing stops. Don't let me say it. Don't let me recall it. If you say what I just saw, then it is simple. It's all true, Emiyashiro. His red cloak moves. He moves in on me in an instant and thrusts the horned sword. It's destroyed in one blow. There's no way a hastily constructed sword and a first attempt at that would match his sword. But, even though I'm empty-handed, he throws away his sword. He projects Durandal, the renowned sword of the king. I skip about 4 steps and quickly reproduce his weapon, but of course such an imitation is destroyed in one blow. I fall. I'm repelled and I land with my back on the rubble. That surprises me. The rubble turns red just by having me fall on top of it. Oh, I already know, but it seems my body is almost dead, outside and inside. This is it, Emiyashiro. Your foolishness for coming here when you know you won't be a match. A mindless imitation, imprisoned by a stupid ideal. Do you understand that those are your true identity? His voice echoes. My body is covered with wounds. It's bad how the wounds are so deep that I can reach inside them and take out my bones. There is no value in such a life. I'm sure of it. There is no value in Emiyashiro's life. It is wrong to save just because you want to save. You are a fake that should have never existed as you are broken as a human being. My magical energy is almost depleted. Not only that, the magic circuit to run the magical energy is burned up. No, if I talk about it burning up, it burned up yesterday when I used projection. It's just that an almost broken thing completely broke. But my body is telling me I can still fight. My mind bluffs itself, saying that it has not given in. Oh, then I have to get up and defeat him. It's useless. I am your ideal. You should have realized that you cannot match me. I focus the last of my will on the magic circuit. My split nerves scream, but I carefully put together the 8 steps. Trace off. I project his twin swords, Kancho and Bakuya, 2 great swords named after an ancient swordsmith. I swing them. I keep attacking until my remaining energy runs out. My twin swords are met by twin swords. Archer now holds Kancho and Bakuya and parries my attacks without retreating. I see. It's natural for you to not accept it. As I am your ideal, Miyashiro must not accept me more than anyone. His calm tone pisses me off. I can't even breathe, but he is calm and composed. Damn it! I attack with all my energy. That was a terrible read. Damn! He does not parry my attacks, but pushes them back. I'm pushed back along with my twin swords. The difference in our powers is obvious. There's no way for me to win with pure strength. Then let me ask you, Miyashiro. Do you really want to be a superhero? For an instant, my mind blinks out from the surprise attack. What? I don't want to become one. I'm going to become one. I glare back at him. Then, yes, you need to become a superhero. Because that is your only emotion. An emotion you can neither betray nor deny. Even if that wish is not born from within you. He stops me with words that grabs my heart. Not born from within me. I deny them even before I think about what those words mean. I can't let him finish. I can't realize that fact. If I find out Miyashiro's foundation will crumble. Oh, it seems you have a vague idea of it. I feel like I need to reread that last little bit. I deny them even before I think about what those words mean. I can't let him finish. I can't realize that fact. If I find out, Miyashiro's foundation will crumble. Oh, it seems you have a vague idea of it. No, you knew it, but you tried your best to keep that fact from yourself. I cannot even remember now. I start to say before I stop myself. I don't want to know. I know that I shouldn't know, but still, I know that I must know. The contradiction of Miyashiro. The answer to what is wrong with me and how I am distorted. I do not have your memory anymore, but I still remember that scene. The flame filling my vision and the smell of death. The request for help and how I felt when it was granted. The look of relief on Emiya Kiritsugu's face when he saved me. I realized that it is natural to die and my mind emptied out. I was saved at that time. The man who saved me smiled with tears in his eyes. Is that what I thought was beautiful? That's right. It's not that you felt guilty for being the only one saved. You just admired Kiritsugu. You wanted to become like him only because he looked so happy when he saved you. That's right. It's not me that got saved at that time. It's an assumption I did not even think about. If that fire was Kiritsugu's fault, he shouldn't have been able to bear that fact. A tragedy without any survivors. Kiritsugu, the one who caused it, must have frantically searched for a survivor, and he finally found a survivor that should not have existed. The man found a surviving child that could not be saved. If you talk about miracles, it is. But I knew about that already. I don't care about his circumstances. It was enough for me that he got me out of that hell. Even if it may have been for himself, it's true that he tried to save me and wished for my survival. That's enough. Emiya Kiritsugu saved a boy who had nothing. So, yes, it's natural for a child to admire his parent, but you went too far. It would have been fine if you just admired what Emiya Kiritsugu wanted to become, but he left you a curse at the very end. I do not even need to say it, right? That is everything for you. I'll make your dream. I thought he was going to say come true. That's the answer. Hearing my casual remark, he left the words, "I am relieved," behind him. And then that man, who was emptier even than me, died. At that moment, Emiya Shiro had to become a superhero. My will does not matter. For his sake, I simply try to become what he had admired since he was small. The wish for everyone to be happy is an impossibility dreamed not by me, but by Emiya Kiritsugu. You should know, Shiro. Your ideal is borrowed. You are only imitating what Emiya Kiritsugu wanted to become, what Emiya Kiritsugu thought was right. That is... I grit my teeth desperately, trying to resist my mind that is about to give in. But... a superhero? Do not make me laugh. Over and over you said you wanted to help people, but that wish is not your own. You are conceited to think that such a man could help anyone. He attacks with his swords. With the weight of his contempt behind them, the twin swords are swung more strongly than ever before. Oh, seeing those raging swords, I accept my own death just as I did 10 years ago. The force comes smashing down. There's no elegance in those attacks, and they are executed only using his strength. My left arm shakes from blocking the attack. My fingers that held onto the sword break. The sword that I made using all of my remaining power is bent back by one blow. I'm dead. I'm on the verge of death from the first blow, so there's no way I will be able to block the next attack. Oh, but still, my mind is about to give in, but my body denies it with all its might. It's telling me I'm wrong. It appeals to me saying it's wrong to give in to his words and die here. I raise my head. My eyes aren't functioning. They don't see the imminent enemy, but show his memories. In them, I see myself curling up and desperately trying to live. The echoing of the swords isn't all I hear. He curses himself every time he attacks. That's right. I admired his desire to save people because it is beautiful. I block the oncoming attack. Bakuya is destroyed. All I have left is Kancho in my left hand. But none of that feeling is my own. What else can you call it but hypocrisy? Kancho is bent and its existence is fading. My heart is hurting. Not because of his attacks. His words slash at my heart. I was driven by my obsessive need to help someone. I kept running, neither noticing the pain nor how wrong I was. He keeps on denying himself. My heart tries to give up every time I hear him. My body wants to succumb to the force of his attacks. But still, that same body keeps desperately denying him. But it's all a fake. Such hypocrisy cannot save anything. No, first of all, I did not know what I wanted to save. I'm smashed away. An attack as strong as one of Berserker's easily flings away Emiya Shiro's body. But I still hold my ground. I frantically endure the attack coming down at me. I will not be able to get back up if I fall down. So my body refuses to let me fall. I thrust the rapidly fading Kancho into the ground and lean on it. My body sags forward and I cannot even stand upright. I use Kancho as a cane and hold up my falling body with my arms. I must look pitiful. I might look as if I'm kneeling down and begging him. That ideal is a failure. The idea that everyone else is more important than yourself. The wish for everyone to be happy is all just fantasy. If you can only live by holding on to that ideal, drown in your ideals. He says that. There's no value in living. No. In my life itself. My weapon is about to disappear, and there's little point in trying to keep my body from falling. In contrast, he isn't even scratched. The match is decided. No, the match had been decided from the start. There's no way for Emiya Shiro to beat heroic spirit Emiya. But that is a mistake. If the difference in our powers was large, the fight wouldn't have turned out like this. In my mind, and it is my mind that lost. My mind was weak because I realized that I am wrong and that he is right. That was my only failure. Because... Shut up. What? Because my body has been telling me I will not lose to you. Why? Why did power enter my body every time you curse my ideal as fake? Shut up, damn it! I'll reach it. I'll definitely reach it. If parts of me are broken, then I just need to use the parts that aren't. If everything I have is broken, then use the parts I don't have. If my body hasn't lost yet, I can just reach out to the part of me that hasn't been used yet. A headache. An instant of a few milliseconds. I see him probably for the last time. I could not understand him, but I guess I can use his pain as a lesson. A hero who used a poem about himself as a spell. Even if I don't understand the meaning behind it, I'll accept those words in your place. I am. I start the spell so that I can be proud of myself. Emiya's words hurt Emiya. He accepted that fact and chose to kill me. That's the only thing he could wish for in the end. Then, just as you deny me, I will defeat you with all my powers. I am the bone of my sword. I murmur the words without realizing it. I raise my head. I pour determination into my dying body. I swallow the blood clotting in my throat. Yang Sword Concho regains its image. You. That's right. I already knew that. This is just a dream. But I kept on believing in it because I thought it was right. Kiritsugu pursued it because he knew it was an unattainable dream, an impossible ideal, even if it may be unattainable. He believed that he would reach his destination if he kept running. Her sheath. Its protection is still there, even though the contract does not exist anymore. I ready my sword. I don't care about that. I won't lose to you. I don't mind losing against someone, but I can't lose against myself. I will keep on being Emyashiro. Ooh. It is an unbelievable technique. His attacking body is on the verge of death. His fingers are broken, his limbs are slashed, and his breathing has stopped without him even realizing it. His speed is nothing, and his attack is mediocre. The boy that has absorbed his combat skills to the point where he's able to fight decently has now returned to fighting without them. An unskilled, frantic attack, but still, this blow is heavier than any that came before. What? Archer's indifference turns into surprise within a second. The swinging swords are crazy. They clash against his longsword with unimaginable speed. Where is his power coming from? The attacks are unlike before. You! He cannot go into defense. This attack should cut through the boy's neck. Realizing that he cannot make the light of the boy, he swings his sword. Up and down, left and right. The 4 attacks are enough to cut off his limbs and cut up his body into pieces. The boy blocks them. No, exceeding his 4 attacks, the sword comes to slash his neck. Bringing back the longsword, he parries the attack. Phew. He intuitively understands that he will be killed unless he attacks. The longsword attacks the enemy that is on the verge of death, and the boy frantically swings his sword. The swords crash in balance. The space is filled with sparks, and anything entering the space should be cut to pieces. But it should be the last spark that a dying man gives off. The boy loses his breath every time he attacks, almost falls, holds his ground, and attacks again. The sight reassures him. There's no power left in his enemy. The boy in front of him is literally on the verge of death. So why do those arms have seemingly infinite power? I have no consciousness. I can neither tell what the enemy's doing, nor if my attacks are doing anything. My muscles are screaming for oxygen, and the lack of blood keeps ordering my body to stop. I suppress them altogether by force. That's all that's filling my head. My ideal is fake. He's right, I can't be a superhero. As long as I admire such a thing, I'll end up like the man before me. It isn't! But I felt beauty in it. I know it's just hypocrisy to value everyone else over yourself. But still, I admired it, thinking how great it would be if I could live that way. That's the only thing driving my dying body. He cannot hear what his enemy is saying. His enemy's voice is weak, yet his attacks are relentless. Looking, the boy's hands are the one with the sword's hilt. It must be to keep the sword in place, but that will transfer the impact directly to his body. The boy is covered in blood and he will fall forward and die if he retreats. Even swinging the sword should come with great pain. He blocks it with annoyance. His dying enemy gets on his nerves, but he lets himself get on his nerves because even though he knows it will end once he retreats, he is not able to do so. But how can he retreat? Straightforward attacks without strategy. If it is a shame to turn his back to such attacks, it is also a disgrace not to block them. His enemy will self-destruct once he retreats, but he has a presentiment that he will lose something important if he does so. The worries will end soon. His enemy is at his limit. He will fall after 2 more blows, or 3 at most. Damn. He clucks his tongue at the stupid thought. He previously thought that his enemy would last 2 more blows, but he has received over 10 blows since then. The boy will not fall. He cannot hear the boy's voice. The dying boy frantically opposes the obstacle in front of him. That figure. He stares at that figure with his eyes for the first time. I keep swinging the sword with arms that are about to tear off. The only thing I have left is this one thing I'm saying with all my might. Isn't. My barrage of strikes are compensation for that scream. There were people that I could not save. There were people that could not save others, and there was me who could not save them. I swore to myself never to let such a thing happen again. Seeing the memories that meaninglessly disappear. It isn't. How long has it been since then? There were things I lost, and there were things I dropped. There are always things that will be forgotten. So I swore to myself never to forget this one fact. To become a superhero. I will protect it even if it isn't my wish, or even if it is just sophistry to soften my guilt. It has to come true. The person who saved me died, leaving those words behind. I believe in the wish that contained in those words. Even if everyone in this world disagrees with me, and even if I myself curse me, And so, he realizes that the attacks will not end. His enemy will not stop. He will not stop from his own will. The boy is attacking with all his might, but he is not looking at his opponent. The thing the boy is trying to defeat is his obstacle, his own self that is hindering himself. He is swinging his swords to enforce what he believed in, what he will keep on believing in. Realizing that, the man grits his teeth in annoyance. The boy keeps challenging it, knowing that he won't win and that there's no meaning to it. That is the exact opposite. That is the exact mistake he has detested. So why? Why does he want to see how long the boy can continue? This is it! Disappear! He raises his long sword. His enemy's attacks are something he has to take seriously. He repels the attacks and crushes his enemy's skull for sure. A clanging sound. The fatal attack is easily deflected. The one who could not block his attacks until now repels a swing made with all his might. He gasps. He sees his enemy repel his sword and get back into stance. The boy's eyes are looking straight at. The impact causes one of my arms and legs to break. My sense of pain hasn't been numbed. I use my fury to clamp down the pain that almost makes me wet my pants. I don't have enough water. I can't release excess things. The left side of the enemy's chest is open. Since half my body has broken, this will be my final blow. But such thoughts do not fill my head. The only thing in my head is... He pulls back his longsword to protect his open left side. He will make it. He will easily make it. This is my final blow. It isn't a mistake! That's the only thing in my head. Even if Emiyashiro is a fake, this is absolutely true. For everyone to be happy. That is an ideal everyone thinks of. So I won't back down, because this dream is... The unwavering gaze. Faults and lies. Shaking off everything. Running without stopping. It isn't a mistake! Those words are driven into his chest. An attack made at full strength. Defense that should not have been fast enough. The cogwheels never got into gear and the battle is decided quickly. He hears the sound of the blade piercing him. The one surprised is the knight in red. His enemy attacked with determination to defeat him. Then it is natural for his attacks to do so. The boy does not need to be surprised, nor does he have anything to spare to be surprised. This is why the knight is the only one that is surprised. It is a great wonder how he could not block an attack he could have easily blocked. I support myself with my unbroken right leg. The sword in my right hand has pierced Archer's chest. Archer, why? Was she watching all this time from that place? Still standing at the entrance, Saber questions Archer. Archer does not answer. He might not need to answer, or maybe he doesn't know the answer. My fingers throb. My broken fingers scream at me that they do not want to hold the sword anymore. The knight in red does not move. Even with a blade in his chest, a servant should be able to easily counterattack, but his hands are lowered and show no sign of moving. I know without being told what that means. I won, Archer. I make that declaration while looking at him. The knight in red closes his eyes once and... Yes, and I lost. He murmurs while looking off into the distance. Hang on, I need to send a text really quick. The reason I needed to respond to that text, a flood is about to hit me, so that's fun. It's something that we've been preparing for a little bit, so I'm sorry that I had to interrupt this episode with it. I can talk about that more at the end if anyone cares, but I'm going to get back to, this. Oh, I already read that. As if to convince himself. I pull out the sword. The projected weapon disperses as soon as it touches outside air. The tension floods out of me, and I finally take notice of my condition. It's terrible. The slashed wounds are healing, but lots of places are turning dark red. Archer said something about Saber's sheath, but what's that power putting priority on? It heals the torn flesh at once, but it seems to be putting off the broken bones until later. Then, I hear loud footsteps from the west side of the hallway that Lancer disappeared into. Someone's coming. She appears in the terrace and jumps down without hesitation. And she moans in pain at her landing. And I think it's a little bit of a weird spot to end. I probably should have ended it at he murmurs while looking off into the distance. But I'm going to end that there for obvious reasons. Yeah, there's a flood that's going to be hitting. We did some preparations for it. Like, we have sandbags set up all around the house and places that the water could get into. But, yeah, there's still some things that, I just need to go just double check before the flood actually hits me, which is apparently right about to happen. So, yeah. Also, I mean, that's just a good spot to end the episode anyways. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.